Hey guys, I'm Sara Wiseman. Today we're going to talk about blind readings, what they are, how they work, and how you can use them to find clear answers to your questions. And we all have these questions about our lives, about, our jobs, our relationships, our health, our money situations, and then the bigger questions like our life's calling and our life's purpose, our destiny. So whenever we're wondering what to do next, like what's our next best step in divine flow, what's our best choice in any given situation, and again, working in wanting to be in divine flow, letting the universe lead and assist us, what's really helpful to know is that everything is our answer. Every little thing. That means we can get answers by entering in, by connecting to the divine in meditation and type of intuition that I teach, which is visioning. And we can also get answers by expanding out and by looking at everything in our lives, even the smallest, most insignificant things that are right in front of us. And so, really, everything is our answer. We all want answers, and we want clear answers from the universe. Guidance that's so crystal clear, we can work with it immediately without having to guess what it means in some confusing or complicated or super cryptic way. Like we receive the message, but we don't understand it. So, what's the point of having a vision or a synchronicity or receiving information if we don't understand what it means? So we want to work at gathering intuitive information in a way that's going to give us those clear, just irrefutable answers that we can understand and work with. And so, a really great way to do this is through blind readings. And so, a blind reading is a psychic technique in which we look for the answer, or we actually receive the answer before we know the question. And this sounds kind of tricky, but it's actually very easy. And it actually, this might not make sense to some of you it will. Um, Using a blind reading provides more accurate answers. We get more accurate answers without knowing the question than we do when we use the usual way of asking the question first. Okay, so first of all, how do blind readings work? We want to understand that the universe, the universe loves you. The universe has your back. The universe is on your side. The universe is conspiring in your favor. Yes. And the universe is not all that interested in answering all questions. The universe is interested in answering questions that will lead you to soul expansion. So the mundane, um, or questions that come from ego, or questions where we're in a thought loop and we keep asking the same thing over and over, even though we already know that that's not the right direction. The universe isn't, super interested in answering these because they're not worth answering. The universe considers this kind of neutral information. It's not important, doesn't matter. It's just in terms of, it's not worth answering in terms of the big picture, which is you as a soul. So let's look at an example of this kind of neutral thing. Say you want to ask the universe if you should go to a particular yoga class. So unless there's something really significant happening that's going to await you at this yoga class, the universe doesn't care. The universe sees this as a neutral decision, a decision that doesn't matter too much. So again, if it's really important in terms of synchronistic flow that you go to this yoga class because there you're going to meet someone that will change your life, or something will happen that will change your life, that's different. But if there's nothing synchronistic or important in the field, then this decision is neutral. So you can revise your question or your way of asking. You can say, is going to this yoga class the best and highest use of my time? And this allows the universe to guide you outside of the constraints of a yes, no box and allow you to receive answers that guide you at a higher level. So does this, make sense to you? The idea is to open the question up and become available and open to all outcomes, not just the outcomes that are currently presenting themselves to you. You want to think a lot bigger. You want to become open to how the universe wants to guide you, not how your ego wants to guide you. So your answer when asked in an open way might be, yes, go to this yoga class, or it might be, do no yoga whatsoever and go instead for a walk in nature or something else. So when we learn to ask these kind of open-ended questions that are not, a choice between A and B, but always leave room for choice C or even yet another new idea or direction, then you allow the universe to lead you to the highest level. So that's one part of the blind reading. We learn to ask questions that are open-ended because we let the universe decide what questions are important or not. The next thing to know about when you're doing a blind reading is where to look. It's customary when we're working at intuition to spend time entering in to work with the guides and the angelic realm. We go into a meditative state to connect with other beings, or we enter into a meditative state to work with guiding visions or memories or wherever we're going to be heading when we're journeying. And if we're not entering in this way, perhaps we're expanding out to focus on the signs and synchronicities that happen to us as we go about our day. So we enter in or we expand out, and these are both great ways to gather divine guidance from the universe. But remembering again, every little thing is our answer. And so in addition to the practices of entering in and expanding out, we can also work with something as simple as the everyday objects around us. We can gather intuitive information from these objects. This guidance is just as meaningful and just as accurate as working with the other methods. It can be kind of hard to wrap your mind around this idea that everyday objects, like as simple as this, can also be clear channels of universal information. Yet, when you understand that everything is part of oneness, nothing is outside of this, nothing, even small, inanimate objects around you hold deep information for you on your soul path. Okay, so let's just recap this a little bit more. We've already established the first part of blind readings is knowing how to detach from outcome. The second part is knowing every little thing is your answer. And the third part is realizing that the micro reflects the macro. So let's look a little bit more about why and how blind readings from objects works. So we have this misbelief that things have to be living, biologically living, to be sentient. And this is actually not true. Everything has vibration and thus has consciousness at some degree. And this includes non-living things. We think only sentient, living, biological beings have consciousness, but no, all objects hold energy. All objects hold emotion. All objects hold the story of their owners. All objects hold the story of their origin and maker. Many objects hold the story of your ancestry. Many objects hold the story of your past lives. So each and every object that surrounds you carries with it all of the vibration, frequency, memory, and corresponding emotional content of its reality. And so, like when you're in a room, it just stands to reason. The more objects, the more the energetic chaos. The more objects that are low vibration, the more your own vibration is brought down. The more objects that are loaded with emotional content, such as heirlooms or things previously owned by others, the more you sense that energy, the more objects that are technical or electronic, the more vibration is non-compatible or not against, but it's different from human vibration. So all items have an energy signature, and after a while, the cacophony and the chorus of all these energy signatures becomes a lot to deal with. When we understand how the energy of objects works, we can learn to tune in to everyday things and belongings and receive important information there. This is kind of how blind readings work. We tune into everyday things and belongings and receive important information from these objects that we thought were just sitting around, but they're not. Every object is a container of universal energy, and thus, as with one, the big one, so with one, the micro reflects the macro, as above, so below, as within, so without. Everything in relationship to everything else. And we can tap into this to receive divine guidance. Blind readings are not hard to do. We work with everyday objects in our surroundings. You will be shocked and stunned by all of the answers that are just sitting in the room with you right now, that you can receive clear, accurate information from about the questions you have in your life. So if you'd like to learn how to work with blind readings and practice this technique, it's very simple. Just go to sarawiseman.com. We've just sort of touched on it briefly here. So go to the website and then go to courses, and then you'll go see the blind reading project. Thanks for listening. I'm happy to have you be with you today.